Tristan Hart, P1 on the day. Tristan, tell us about your day.
Yeah, good start. I tried to squeeze Will off on the start. I just went straight left off the start, but the Sherco was faster than my bike, so I went back to the middle and he got the whole shot, and I was second, which was perfect. He took all the water off the branches, so I was stoked on that. Stayed dry for 10 minutes. And then, yeah, I almost killed Will. He fell off his bike and lost his feet and went back, and I was already committed and pretty much smoked him, kind of. Luckily, he's okay, but yeah, and then kind of just rode by myself the first lap, didn't see anyone, and kind of thought it was a normal Donner where I just seem to get big gaps here at the start of races. I don't know why. So I'm
Early big gap.
Yeah,
sure.
I always seem to do it here. And then, so I just thought it was the same thing because I rode the first lap so clean. Like, I didn't mess anything up. And then I come in, they're like 3-minute gap to Cody, and I'm like, all right, not bad. And then not even 10 minutes later, he caught me, and I'm like, what? I was so surprised. I'm just like, no way he caught me. And yeah, and then I could tell he really wanted to get away from me. He did a couple of gnarly lines in the lappers, which is what he's really good at. And I was kind of, I had to make him or else he would make up a minute or so. So there's a little bit of pressure. And I could just tell from his his mojo, he was pushing hard, trying to get away. And I just stayed with him. I think he made a mistake, and I got back in front, and then we went back and forth maybe 2 times. And then we got to the hardest part of the track, outer limits. And he messed that up on the first lap too, and he messed it up that lap, and I got like 30 or 40 seconds, and I think it was like that the rest of the race. I saw him a couple times, but he never got back up to me. Yeah, I mean, it was close enough that I was getting vibes from Moab where I was stressed. I didn't want to lose another one like that, and I was way more prepared than I was at Moab.
What's it like racing a guy like that? Like, how do you regroup after he catches you at the beginning of the second lap and like, oh, I gotta turn this thing around, and then how do you do that?
Well, I mean, if he wouldn't have caught me, I would say it would have been probably kind of boring. I would have had to make it fun on myself with lappers or something to make it interesting, but him catching me actually, although it stresses me out, it makes it interesting because I push myself in ways that I wouldn't without him, so it's actually a good thing. It just caught me by so much surprise that it was just like, wow. But yeah, I started riding harder because obviously I had more in the tank once someone starts pushing me. So we both just picked up the pace. And yeah, I mean, from there, from outer limits to the finish, I was just wide open because I didn't want him to catch me. And there's only maybe 3 sections that I was worried about, and I nailed them all pretty good. And so I was pretty happy, and once I got up top of the world, I was exiting and he was just coming down, so it was about a minute or so, and I was happy at that point. And right after that, you started following me, so I was happy to not lose one at the end of the race, because it's a lot of money to win one of these races, and to lose in the last 10 minutes of riding is pretty heartbreaking. So yeah, stoked on that.
Good job, Tristan. What was the hardest, what was the most challenging part of the race today, and how hard was it? 1 to 10.
1 to 10, probably a 6 or a 7. Hardest part was definitely the lappers. They were bottled up in a lot of the spots, like that creek waterfall thing. I had to just go between them in the worst line possible. And then I saw Cody, he had the smartest line, and he just pushed the tape over and went around the whole thing, so he probably made up time on me there. But yeah, lappers were tough today, which is always the case here, but with the snow and the mud, I think it was worse just because they weren't getting traction. So lappers were pretty brutal.
How big of a points gap do you have now in the championship? Are you the champion? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, despite everything that happened this year, I mean, it just seems not that big of a deal now. I don't know. If you would have told me like 2 months ago that I'd be the champion, I'd be like, you're crazy, because yeah, just so much adversity. I had to miss a race and then broke the collarbone in 5 pieces, and I wasn't even supposed to be riding till like a week ago. It was supposed to be a 3-month wait, but I have some good healing, I guess, so it healed faster than it was supposed to. And yeah, I mean, a lot of adversity. My finger at round 1, ended up winning that one. And the young guns were riding really good. I feel like at the start of the year, because they were riding the tracks, and Cody said that a couple of times. He's been pretty vocal about that they were riding the tracks and they were beating him because of that. And then the last couple races have been pretty gnarly. and Cody's been riding good, and I think he's got second at every race now. So yeah, he's been riding good, and the kids kind of dropped off a bit. Will's still been riding good, but definitely Ryder dropped off a bit. So yeah, I mean, I think winning a round early with everything that happened is pretty crazy, but the fact that it just happened like that, it just seems like less dramatic, maybe less, like there's no pressure involved almost. Yeah, I mean, like Cody last year was riding so good. We went down to the last race with like 5 points between us, so it was like pretty interesting. But yeah, I think I got my 5th Hard Enduro title today, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I guess we'll celebrate that at TKO.
Congratulations, champ. You the man. All right, Cody Webb, P2 on the day. Looked like you were feeling it today. What was it like out there?
It was honestly so much fun. Like, a little cold to start, to be honest. I was really glad Will was leading because he must have been soaked through that first bushy section. I put tape on my handguards to try and keep my hands warm because I get like a cold hand issue. But we got sweaty, and then track opened up, got a little bit more flow, maybe 2/3 the way through. And coming in the finish, my clutch hand was like almost numb because it was pretty damn cold out. And then right back into the tech, and from that moment on, I was having an absolute blast. Like, I had a really good time the first lap, but conditions got a little bit better, I think, maybe on the second lap. Harder section with some of the lappers and just carrying more grease up on the rocks, but the trails this is the best we've ever ridden Donner. Like, I was just having fun and pushing so hard on the YZ. Like, I think for the first time ever, I was making up ground in the fast stuff at Hard Enduro.
Yes, for sure. You were catching Tristan in the easier stuff.
Yeah, I was just determined. Like, I had the flow going on, bike was working good, and I got a Arcade Tech helped me out. I had a 265 kit this weekend, so
oh, you did?
Yeah, I had a stock cylinder that was bored out and a Wiseco piston in there, but I was feeling a little froggy. You know, Silver Kings wasn't me, like bad start, and I was down on power on the big hills on the 250F, so I felt really good on that bike. It wasn't the right bike for that race, and I was kind of on the fence. I'm like, oh, I'm riding the 265 for sure here for Donner. And, you know, I did the track walk. I only walked Spectator Hill, pretty much busy working on stuff all day. But right off the bat, I was like, man, I see some different lines here. These guys aren't going to go here. And I think I had different lines in multiple sections and struggling one little bit today. But, you know, I put the pressure on Tristan. I didn't even know I passed him at one point. I turned around. He ran into my rear tire when we caught it a lapper, and I had no idea I passed him.
Is that on the side hill over there?
Yeah, I know he was above me, and I was just like piecing apart the bottom line, real cautious. So, yeah, it always is good when it doesn't feel like you're trying that hard and things go pretty well. So I didn't get the win. It would have been really nice. It's kind of like a local race for me, but just to rebound from Silver Kings not even being top 10 to putting the hammer down and the pressure on those guys and pulling away from Will and Ryder, who dropped me last weekend. So the old dog still got it here and there.
The old dog still got it. You know, this place is so loose and ruthless. Like, there's always something that wants to take your front end out. There's loose rocks everywhere. What's the secret to get a flow out here?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the weather made the flow possible today. Normally, it's like moon dust and everything's moving underneath you. And with the rain, you know, anywhere you ride, things pack in a little bit more, so you can push the front end harder in. And, you know, last year on the Sherco, you know, we had multiple years on that bike, and, you know, now I'm on with IRC tires and different moose setup from what I was running, and I was just super happy with the suspension, with Race Tech, however the bike was feeling. Like, I could put the bike where I wanted and push when I wanted. It was really stable, so the chassis was really good here. The engine still is, you know, it's not a European 300, but from stock to what I have now, anyone could ride my bike and be thoroughly impressed. So it made my life easier today, and I was having fun. I guess that's why I did good.
Having fun seems to be the key. What moose setup were you running in those IRCs?
Yeah, so just a platinum moose up front, which is their harder one. I don't like a soft front tire, and then especially today with how good it was, you can push harder. And then in the rear, I'm just running a little bit smaller moose for like that size tire, which most of us all are doing. And we had holes drilled in it, so it wasn't crazy soft. So it had like the perfect amount of holdup where you go too soft in a race like this where you have good traction on granite and it's garbage. You're hitting stuff too fast and it feels like you're just hitting the rim everywhere. So today I was just floating on stuff really good with we got lucky. It was actually the same moose left over I ran at from Moab. So it was already kind of broken in. And
Had some good juju.
I had good juju in there. So, it's not always good to run new stuff, especially with the Hard Enduro boys. Yeah.
What was the most challenging part of your race today, and how hard was it, 1 to 10?
Yeah, the most challenging part, I don't know the name of the section, but it's where Tristan kind of got a gap on me both times. Yeah, up to crack.
Up to crack.
First lap, I was like, I just couldn't get my leg right. Like, I don't know how he did it pretty well. In the second lap, did almost the same exact thing on the spine, but I wedged the bike weird, and that cost me a lot of time. I got out of it clean once I readjusted, but for me, that was my biggest deficit today. In the race, I had so much fun. Like, yeah, it was hard in some spots, but it felt easy to me. So I'll say 6 out of 10. It was just too fun.
There you have it. Cody, we got Will Rearon here, 3rd place on the day. Willie, you got off to an early lead. Something must have happened. What happened, and how'd the rest of your day go?
Yeah, I got the whole shot. It was funny. Tristan tried to run it up on me a couple times. I could hear him. He's known for that. But the whole shot, and then going through the trees, because we got heaps of snow, for anyone that didn't see. So there was snow in the trees. I was just like one jersey going through, taking all the snow off. So my gloves were wet. It's fucking cold. Snow, believe it or not. But then get to the technical stuff, and when I walked it, I picked out a line, and I tried that, but it was so slippery, and I fell down, missed my foot, and then I bent my rear brake pedal under my motor or whatever. So then there was no free play, so the caliper heated up and the back brake got stuck on like further down the track. So then I had to bend it out. That took a bit. So then the girls are in front of me, and then just started.
The girls were in front of you?
Yeah, Lou was in front.
You lost a ton of time.
Yeah. And then got going, and then it's kind of no man's land. Once I got into 3rd, no man's land for the rest of the race. I could see Cody one spot on the first lap, and I thought I could get him, but I didn't know him and Tristan were together, so they were pushing, and then obviously I was too, but it's tough when you're in no man's land. But considering everything, happy to be on the podium.
What was the most challenging part of your day, and how hard was it, 1 to 10?
Honestly, not too hard. 1 to 10, it got better. First lap because it was slippery. Overall, I'd say 5. It gets easier with the moisture, and then the loose, rocky, shaly hills. A line gets put in, so then it gets really fun.
Moto it.
Yeah. Although I did mess up one, so I can't say it's that easy. But compared to some of the other races we do, for sure. But glad it was only 2 laps. Glad it wasn't 3, and glad it wasn't 1. Because with the snow, they were saying maybe 1, and that's so short. And
would have been quick.
And it would have. I suppose I was in 3rd, but yeah, it might have screwed me. But 3 laps is a bit much. But it's the same thing, You just 1 lap, another lap, and it gets easier, and then it's anyway. But yeah, not bad.
There you have it. Good ride, Willie.